folks, this is not Chris Evans, and I'm mucking around in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about adverse yaw and what that is all about, and is it a thing in the simulator? There's been a lot of comments about it, and yeah, it's a bit of a controversy. Anyway, what is it? Basically, adverse yaw basically is to do with the ailerons usually. It's caused by the down aileron creates more drag than the upgoing aileron. And what this does is it causes a differential in the amount of drag from the wings, and it ends up pulling your nose of your aircraft in the opposite direction that you're actually turning, and it's called adverse yaw because it's doing the exact opposite of what you want it to do. It looks a bit like this. So yeah, I'm not doing a very good job of it. I'm actually simulating this with my doing opposite rudder, but because the simulator doesn't actually simulate it as well as it might. So like, so I'm going to make a left turn, and you're going to see the nose go to the right. You see, so that's like kind of what it looks like. Before you even look into this stuff in the simulator, though, there is something you need to do. And that is pop into your assistance options here. I get a lot of people don't realize this. It sometimes gets turned on once you get an update to the sim. But anyway, you go into the piloting section of the assistance options, and you want all of this stuff turned off, basically. Things like auto rudder, assisted yoke, things like this, assisted takeoff, landing, auto trim, all this stall protection, all this stuff will definitely muck with the way your airplane handles. It's a bit like training wheels for a bicycle, but once you learn how to ride a bicycle, you want to take the training wheels off. So turn all this stuff off, because it absolutely will muck up the way the aircraft performs. I get why they set it up by default, so that new people to the simulator, never flown before, can have a chance of actually keeping it in the air. But for anyone who has any reasonable amount of flying experience, will not want this stuff. So turn it off, because it'll especially before you go accusing the simulator of not flying properly, that's a good reason why a lot of times it doesn't. Here's what the devs had to say about it.
Of this is on these 7 planes, so based on the feedback we got on this update, there was the request to have more adverse yaw. So what we did is we found data on the Cessnas, real world data on how much adverse yaw happens at really precise data based on speed and how much roll you do. And so there's a further improvement which is coming so this is going to be on the next sim update, which is going to be on all aircraft, which improves adverse yaw. And it's the ability also for aircraft creators to basically define something which was previously the same for all planes, which is aileron drag. So when the aileron goes up or down, it obviously changes the lift of the wing, which results in the vol. But it also adds some more drag. And there was no way actually for an aircraft creator to change this. It was existing. There was already some adverse yaw, but there was no way to tweak it. And so we added the possibility to change the upwards aileron drag and downwards, so which really allows to very specifically fine-tune the adverse yaw. We did some tests on the Cessna, so that's the first video on the adverse yaw. Maybe you can show that.
Sure. Yeah. Here we go.
And so this is the very easy test. It's just flying level, and you have very extreme roll input. So nothing else is touched. No elevator, no rudder. It's just a yoke left and right for the roll, and you can see the ball. And if you pay attention at the horizon, the nose really goes left and right. And so we measured the adverse yaw on the Cessna after the change, and we got the same numbers than the real aircraft. So thanks to these new parameters, so aileron drag, we can now get the adverse yaw exact on all planes. So this is something we plan to update. And it's going to be open to aircraft creators so that they can also improve their aircraft and get the same result.
Anyway, we're going to try. I'm going to test a series of gliders here, and we're going to see what sort of adverse yaw is. So I'm going to make these turns without any rudder input at all. My feet are off the rudder pedals, and we're just going to see if the nose goes to the right. I'm always going to make a left turn. I'm going to see if the nose at all goes to the right. So I'm going to line up with this Yampa Valley over here. Let me get lined up a little bit. It's a little hard to do without using the rudders, actually. Okay. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to do a hard turn to the left, and I'm going to see if the nose goes to the right at all. And it's a bit hard to say, but I would have to say it kind of does. Let's do it again. I'll line up with maybe Pleasant Valley over here. It's a bit hard to say because the plane is rolling below us, so the viewpoint kind of makes it look like it's going the other direction. But let's try it again. So I'm lining up with Pleasant Valley right now. Yeah, there's a little bit of adverse yaw there. It's subtle. But it's certainly not what you might actually experience in a proper aircraft, in a full-size aircraft, in a real thing. So let's see. Yeah, it's not super pronounced in this aircraft. It's got a little bit of adverse yaw, but certainly not, possibly not as much as it should. Whether that's something to do with the simulator itself, which I think it might be, although they did add specific things to the simulator for the devs, so that you can control the amount of drag per aileron, the differential on them and stuff. So I don't know, but it is a concern for real pilots, and they don't want to learn, because you could basically fly this glider in the sim, never having to touch the rudders. You can make nice somewhat coordinated turns. The other thing is you can see the little streamer here in the middle of the screen here. I'm doing this turn right now without any rudder input at all, and it's a pretty good turn. I could use the rudder and make changes, but it's almost better if you don't use the rudders at all, which is not good. I don't quite know what's going on with it, but it's something we would like to get sorted. But anyway, I'm going to go through all the gliders and give a quick rundown of which ones seem to exhibit some adverse yaw and which ones have none at all. So let's find out. Okay, this is the Discus 2C. I'm going to see how the adverse yaw is. I'm lined up with Mesa 1 over here. Going to do a hard left bank and see what happens. Yeah, I'd say that's not much adverse yaw evident there. Let's do another one. Line up with it again. Okay, here we go. Alright, so that's the Discus 2C. Okay, this is the DG808. There we go. So that actually does seem to have some adverse yaw there. Again, I'm not using the rudders. Let's do another one. Okay, the feet are off the rudders. Here we go. So that one does seem to turn a little bit to the right, but not a lot, but it's somewhat, there's a little bit going on with this DG808. Okay. Does seem to have a little bit. Okay, next glider. This is the LS4. Here we go. Yeah, not seeing much of any adverse yaw in this. Let's do it again. Yeah. Zero adverse yaw as far as I can detect on the LS4. Alright, this is a early version of the Discus 2B, 2 Bravo, not the 2C. Let's see what this one does. Yeah, not much adverse yaw there either. Okay. Next. Okay, we are now in the magnificent K7. Let's give this one a go. Okay, yeah, that one does have a little bit. Subtle again, but nose did seem to swing a little bit the opposite direction there. Let's try it again. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that one's this. Okay, the K7 does seem to be exhibiting a little bit of a adverse yaw. Still not a lot, but some. Okay, well, there's that then. Yeah, out of all those gliders, the DG808 and the K7 are the only ones that seem to be exhibiting any real amount of adverse yaw, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, something we definitely should get worked on. Be nice to see this, resolved, and because it is a concern. You're learning bad habits by not having to really use your rudder pedals. So it would be nice to see that fixed. Yeah. Well, hopefully that's something they'll do in the future. Alright, thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe if you like this sort of stuff. Give me a thumbs up. And thanks for watching. Take care.